Hi everyone, my name is Emily and I'm a Youth Services Librarian at the Rock Island Public Library, and for the first Manga Monday title of 2025, I bring you Polar Bear Café. And the way I talked about this when I recorded for 8th grade last year, one way I introduced this book was to say, it's a gritty murder mystery. Just kidding, it's about a polar bear that has a cafe, and that's what the book is about. The art is very cute. You meet Polar Bear-san, and he is friends with lots of different creatures, both human and other animals that come to his cafe. And one of his close friends is Panda-san, and there's Penguin-san. The thing to know, though, is we spend a lot of time just with Polar Bear. We get to know him a little bit, but also we get to know Panda pretty well, because Panda lives right next door to the cafe. And if he is bored, if he's just not busy, if he's not working, he will just come over to the cafe and get his favorite order, which is a cup of coffee and some bamboo, because he is a panda. And I will say, the interesting thing about these characters, they love puns, first of all. Like at one point early in the book, Polar Bear starts making bread. And the pun here is that in Japanese, bread is pan. And there's a lot of words that like end in pan. So there's one that's like a bread shaped like a book, and that's out of print bun, so zeppan. And then there's saipan bun, saipan. And you have all these different ones. You have one that's shaped like a human face. So you have a Chopin bun, which is just Chopin. And this is sort of like Polar Bear's, I mean, he enjoys this, obviously. Sometimes Panda gets in on it as well, but sometimes he'll get annoyed too. Like, no, that's not what I'm saying. You've said something very punny, but that was not my intended meaning here. But these friends, they go on different trips. I guess, yeah, it's interesting because Otter's right there, but I don't think we don't meet Otter, or we don't get to know them very well in this first volume. But we do meet people like Grizzly-san, who runs a bar. So it's not just Polar Bear who has a business. Like, this is a world in which humans and animals are living side by side, and it's not really remarked upon ever. Like, at one point, Polar Bear and Penguin, they go to the zoo to visit Panda, because Panda has gotten a part-time job at the zoo. And his part-time job is being a panda. So he will just literally hang out with the full-time panda and just kind of relax in the exhibit and like maybe sort of do like move around for school groups, or just otherwise, I mean, most of the time he's napping, honestly. That's what he is very skilled at, and having a job as a panda means, yes, we will happily pay you to take naps. So I will say in this book, like in addition to these different characters and their different sort of, I guess, jobs / interests, like Penguin-san, he's learning to drive in this book, and eventually he gets his license and they all go on a trip. Also, you get recipes, which I love in a book. And the first couple, like brewing coffee, this is a good one to know, which I don't know how to do that in this manner. Also, you get things like Polynesian sauce, which you can use for barbecue. And I bookmarked the page that's about brewing black tea, because if you're like me, maybe you make black tea a lot, and maybe you haven't been doing it right. Or maybe there's a way you could do it better, which the instructions in this book seem to indicate. So, if you enjoy lighthearted stories of animals that, again, live in a world where they're living side by side with humans, and they have jobs, but it mostly seems like this isn't, oh, you know, I'm struggling as a bear that owns a cafe. No, I mean, Polar Bear, his cafe is quite popular, and his friend Grizzly, Grizzly has to hibernate because he is a grizzly bear, and there's no concern here about like, oh, who's gonna take care of the bar while you're hibernating? No, everybody's just kind of working together, humans and animals, to keep various businesses running. So like, Panda is trying to cheer up the guy at the zoo, who is sort of the panda keeper. Sometimes his job is literally to just kind of shoo the pandas out of the office. Like, they were hanging out by the time clock chatting, or like getting on the phone, and he's like, no, you have have to go out and like be visible to people visiting the zoo. That's what people like about pandas. They like to see you. And like at one point, Polar Bear and Penguin, when they go to visit Panda at the zoo, Polar Bear goes into the polar bear exhibit. It's like, wow. And Penguin's like, wait, why are you interested in this? But again, it's approached as, oh yeah, this is a job. Like you're sort of a performer. Like you're a public personality that's there to kind of, I guess, just entertain humans as they arrive, as they come to see you. This is a manga where there is very little drama, there is very little cause for concern ever. Like Panda's backstory is he was drifting over the ocean, and then a ship passed by, and then he was saved by a fisherman. And then my rescuer handed me off to his parents. And then he was raised by this older couple that ran a little diner. And then when he got too big and like couldn't be a full-grown polar bear in a human house anymore, he left and started his cafe. So if you're looking for something that's sort of relaxing, and I mean, I picked it because there's a polar bear on the cover, but really this is taking place in all seasons. So Polar Bear and friends, they go to the beach and they go skiing, and it's just a nice relaxing read. So if you're looking for something like that to start your 2025 reading, check this out. And thank you for watching. I will see you again soon.